Interesting. It's an interesting, magical time that we have in the world where we can create these possibilities to connect in so many different ways. All right. I'm officially live on Facebook right now, too. So if you want to hear, you can. And also, you can now go and get the shows on YouTube also. If you type in Robert Seidel or Seidel Gateway and podcast, you will be able to pull it up. And it has shows for each week and it has the title of the show. So if you want to go back and listen to a show, it's on Facebook now. Excuse me, it's on YouTube also. So I just want you to know, let me put on a little bit of music right here. Hold on. Okay. I just want to thank you for tuning in right now to another magical opportunity. Tonight, the topic is based on a simple concept. That where you and I are right now, at this very moment, contains unlimited opportunity to open our hearts. Oh, somebody's listening on AM. Yeah, that's good, Debbie. I want to talk to you about that later. You can let me know how it connects for you. So whoever you are, whatever's going on with you in your life, the secret for all of us and the purpose of the show tonight, and for me too, is to remember that this is it right now. This moment is where the full miracle of creation happens. It's always in the present moment. And yet there's something about our human minds that causes us quite frequently to think it's somewhere else, another time, another place. And it was yesterday, 100 years ago, 20 years ago, 5 years ago, or 5 years in the future. But it somehow never seems like now. And yet the actual action is always now. The action is always now. Hey, Jonelle. Always nice to see you, Jonelle, on there. Always appreciate all of you that tune in. You always make a big difference to me. When I do this show, it's always it is a miracle for me. Not kind of a miracle, it is a miracle. I feel a lot of divine joy all the time. Hey, James, nice to see you. So tonight, I was walking along thinking about this. You could have a Rolls Royce, you could have the car of your dreams, you could have the house of your dreams, anything of your dreams. But if your heart is not filled with love, it really wouldn't mean anything to you. That's why sometimes people, even no matter how much money they have, are still very unhappy. I think prosperity is a good thing, don't get me wrong. But if our heart is not open to the infinite love of God, of life, of existence, if we can't see the magic of life in the present moment, then we're missing out on this magical creation. And it's funny today, it's a very pretty day. Most of you probably agree here in Las Vegas. I went out, took a little nature walk with my kids out in the country. And somebody passed us by and I said, boy, it's a beautiful day, isn't it? And the guy goes, well, I really don't know if it's a beautiful day. And then he kept going on. I thought, well, it just was funny to me. And then after a while, then he finally said something else, which made me feel good. He goes, well, actually, every day is a beautiful day. And I thought, yeah, I agree with that. But the point I'm getting at is, for each of us, we have to watch out for these tricks in our minds that cause us not to see the miracle of right now in this present moment. Oh, thank you so much, Al. She's wishing me happy birthday. Yeah, this week was my 71st birthday. And it's been a wonderful week. Unplanned and a lot of unexpected blessings in it. It was a lot of fun. I'll talk to you about that in a little bit. So right now, before we go on any further, let's work on opening our hearts right this second to infinite love. Whatever's going on. No matter where you are in your life, you may think you're at the top of your game or not at the top of your game. You may think all these different possibilities. You should be here in life, or you should be there in life. You should have accomplished this, you should have accomplished that. You might think that you should be heavier or thinner, better shape. If you're a man, maybe you should have a better, what do they say, all the different muscles that you should be showing. If you're a woman, you have a story probably about what maybe you should look like too. And all this stuff is the background chatter of our minds. But in the present moment, there is God, there is life, there is love. So that's what this show is really about, tuning into that miracle-working power of love that is right now. Because right now, without that love, it's not worth anything. And if we can find that love, then all things can open up to us. So I invite you, if you're tuning in right now, radio, Facebook, or wherever, open your heart to that infinite love that transforms your life. When you feel love in your heart, you know you've touched magic. So, without further ado, let's do just a short relaxation exercise. If you're driving, keep your eyes open if you happen to be in the car. But wherever you are right now, keep your eyes open. In fact, my eyes are open anyway. Just relax. Let a deep... Oh, yeah. Hey, Andy, how you doing? You know what? All of you that tune in are friends of mine. Most of you I've met. There might be one or two of you I haven't. And you're always welcome to come by and pick up a copy of my book for free. My book, The Gateway. Right here, I'll show you a picture of it. Come by. That's one of the versions, and that's what you'll be getting right now. I can't tell you how many people told me it's changed their life, so don't miss that opportunity for your own life. But let me go on here. Right now, I want you to take a deep breath in. And just inhale the very power of life. Somehow, some way, we're part of this magical experience. I don't think any of us know. I mean, we know we were born here, but I don't think we know much more about it. And yet every moment is filled with magic. So right now, I want you to feel the body that you are living through right now. Feel the energy and vitality. Take a breath in again. And when you exhale, let everything that separates between you and the fullest expression of a happy life leave you. You are in the middle of a human body, which is much more advanced than the most advanced creation ever made by humanity. You know, it's funny when you get excited about all of our new inventions and toys, our iPhones, and now we're all excited about ChatGPT, these AI, and it's all coming up and everything. But I don't know how to tell you this. You've got AI built into you. That's what your intelligence is. You are an infinitely intelligent being. And your body runs year after year after year. Even when you may not always feed it the right way or take care of it. Your body's very forgiving of you. This body, you started out with just a very tiny heartbeat. And now, whatever years you've been on this earth, your body still goes about its work every day, purifying itself, cleansing itself, regenerating itself, giving you a mind that dreams and believes and hopes and has aliveness in it. How did you get all this? It's the most extraordinary gift of all creation. You have been given the gift of a human body on planet Earth. I know sometimes there's so much news and negativity. It's easy to think, oh, get caught up in that negativity. I'm not saying it's not negative, and some things don't have to be changed. They do, but one of the best ways you and I can change it is to get so filled up with the joy of existence, so intoxicated with the reality itself and God's love, that wherever we go, we become a light to others. We become a light to others. And we become a beam and a beacon to other people, wherever we go. And that's how you can lift people up. You want to know how you can make a difference? Instead of getting pulled down by the stories of the world, you become lifted up by the grace of love of God, and let that become your beacon. So let's take another deep breath. Now just exhale gradually. All the things you're worrying about. You know, it's easy to get caught up in worries. Me too. I can get caught up in all sorts of worries. I'm running a successful business. A lot of people rely on me. I also been a lawyer for 46 years now. I also have a family, children, and people who count on me also. And I can get caught up in this or that story. Well, look what's happening there, or look what they're doing there, or whatever. But I woke up this morning, and I woke up just feeling really happy, just filled with joy. It was a real spiritual dream, just a lot of love poured through me. And it doesn't always happen that way with me, by any means. But that's what I started thinking to myself. Why don't I just give up worrying? What would happen if we gave up worrying? What would happen to your life if you just decided to not give up, not worry all the time? What if you were willing to do an experiment and say, okay, I've tried worrying for the last X number of years in my life. Whatever age you are, I've worried. I've tried it all out. What about if you stopped worrying? Or what about this? If you really are a worrier by habit, how about this? Start worrying about what you're going to do when things get really, really good. What you're going to do with all the joy that pours through your heart. What you're going to do with the friends that you have. What you're going to do with the love that overflows your soul. So if you're going to worry about something, worry about things that use your worry in a constructive way. What are you going to do with excellent, radiant, glorious health? What are you going to do with great business ideas that can employ lots of people? You see, you could worry about things and you could turn around worry into something positive. I've heard it said that worry is just faith turned backwards. So instead of worrying negatively, I invite you tonight to join me in worrying about all the good things that are going to happen. How are you going to handle all of that good stuff? What are you going to do with it? All the magic and wonder and love that comes into your life. And you know what? When I talk like that, what I'm doing is practicing an ancient spiritual principle. We're creating what I call a mental equivalent in your mind. Your mind's thinking itself a little bit. Well, what would I do with all that good stuff? What would I do? Suddenly, in that moment, your mind's working on that. When it works on it, it's working on bringing it into your reality. You and I are living in a miraculous kingdom of human life. The problem is that it's not just human life itself, existence. The problem is we get used to it. Oh, it's just another sunny day, It's just a pretty day. What does that matter? But what if you could see the miracle of it? What if you could open your eyes and let your eyes see in a new way? What if when you breathe, you felt breath flowing into you? So actually, you're listening to the Gateway Show. I will continue this on Facebook, I meant to say. And we'll be back on the radio in about 3 minutes, just a little over 3 minutes. So stay with me, and those of you on the radio, stick with me, and I'll be back in just a second. Ruth, I appreciate that. She has a great message. Ruth, we have to, all of us, Andy, Ernie, James, all of you, we have the ability to co-create love. We have the ability to co-create ecstasy. Doesn't that sound kind of neat? Ecstasy. It's built into our souls, but you know what? It works even better when we can share it with other people. We are designed, I know this in my heart, we are designed to share love with one another. And when we do, we're happier. When we do, we succeed more. Wherever you are right now, again, take another deep breath with me. Let all those worries, if you've had worries in your life, just let them go right now. How about this? Take another deep breath. Now let it out, and as you let it out, if you have any regrets in your life, let them go. Any one of us could look at regrets. They're mostly an illusion, because you wouldn't be here tonight if you hadn't done everything that's happened in your life. But still, sometimes we have regrets. Maybe we said something we wish we didn't say to somebody, or it could be anything. Could be anything. So let's take a deep breath in. Let all those regrets and judgments and all things that are locking us in the past, just let it go, let it go, let it go. The past is an illusion. You probably heard that before, many times. The past is but an illusion. Tomorrow is but a dream. But today well lived will lead to wonderful tomorrows and wonderful memories of yesterday. So wherever you are right now, I'm just thinking how I feel right now. The waves of joy I'm receiving just doing this with you is a supreme gift to me. So I want to thank each of you that are listening right now for sharing your love, your consciousness, your existence with me. You and I can build a magical future. Magic, what if that was our endowed ability, we just didn't see it? Think about that. What if we just could see that we are endowed with this innate, indwelling, magical awareness? How would we use it? what would you do with it? Dare to let your heart be open to that love right now as we speak. It's not somewhere else. It's not another time. It's not another place. You are a miracle working being in a miraculous kingdom. Here we are, back to you on the radio. Here we go. Here we go. Good evening. This is Robert Seidel. It's a great, great pleasure to be with you here on this Sunday evening in May. Like I say, this happened to be my birthday this week, 71 years old. And, you know, there's so much magic in this life. You can't predict the things that come in your path. As the week unfolded, and actually my son's birthday was 2 days before mine, so we had two birthdays this week. So we had a lot of fun to just celebrate. And uh, so Thursday night, I got an invitation. Well, I've just had a lot of fun things happen actually. But Thursday night, I had an invitation to go to something called Cirque Couture. I'm sure I'm probably not saying it quite right. But anyway, it's a great fundraiser event to raise money for children that have cancer. And it was just incredible. Um, incredible beauty, and I get to watch these cirque performers. And we actually did it outside by the pool in the Red Rock Casino, and they did this incredible futuristic, or actually it was a cirque show type of fashion show with the most exotic kind of costumes that people wore, walking on a plank across a pool. But it was just an amazing experience. The colors, the light, the beauty. And I didn't even know I was doing that until 3 hours before I was going. And it was a gift to me. So just you open your heart and gifts come into your world. And so then the next morning, I also was invited to attend, and another gift, but to a lot of people too, and not just to me. One of my dear friends owns the Omelette House down there on West Charleston. And they have an event that meets there every couple months for, they call them old timers, people that have helped found the city. Oscar Goodman, his wife, uh, a lot of other very, very well known people, judges, just people that are there maybe, anyway, just sharing some of the stories that we've all gone through. Jim Marsh. And it's just, in all his car dealerships and everything, all his different businesses. And so it's, so I got invited to that and was able to enjoy that Friday morning, again, unexpectedly. And then we had some fun and decided to go to a show, a comedy show at one of the casinos on Friday night, which I've really never gone to that kind of a show before like that, and that was a lot of fun. And it just like one thing led to the next. Then on Saturday, I got another invitation with some free gifts, free tickets, and I want to recommend this. This is kind of fun. Um, I went to see this thing called Transfix, I think it's called. It's right out in front of the Las Vegas Resort. That is what do they call that? Las Vegas Resort. Is that what it's called? It's the new it's a brand new resort that was built in the last year or so, and it's right on Las Vegas Boulevard. And that's not the right word for it though. I have to get the exact name of it. But the bottom line is it's called Transfix. And if you have a chance to go to this, if you've ever seen any videos, or if you've ever gone to Burning Man up in near Reno, which I haven't gone to, but I've seen them. I'll put a little music again. I have seen the videos, and I've always thought, the Resort World. That's what it is. Thank you, Marianne. It's Resort World. I started calling it Las Vegas Resort World. Well, out in front of it, they've got this thing sort of loosely modeled on, I guess, both Coachella and Burning Man. And they have all these really futuristic things. You'd think you stepped into a science fiction reality. And they have these light shows and all these different things. And so I spent about 2.5, 3 hours there last night. It's like stepping into another reality. And I'm walking around thinking, wow, I wasn't on drugs, but believe me, I could have been. It was just so much, it's designed to kind of stimulate all your senses. And it was just an amazing experience and a beautiful evening, perfect weather, and a free gift again. And so, and I was walking along, and I like to do this little exercise, and you might try it too if you want to experience happiness, greater happiness. But every time your foot hits the ground, say thank you, God. And every breath you feel going into your body. Feel it and say, thank you, God, for that breath. And when you can see out your eyes, say, thank you, God, for letting me see. And when you start doing that, you'll be amazed. It's like infinite joy can start to flood through your soul. Infinite joy. And you can say thank you for love, and let your heart be filled with love. I positively guarantee, as you and I begin to open our hearts to love, we can change the world around us. We can change the world around us. And the world needs love. I mean, ever since I've been a kid, every song I've ever heard is somehow based on what the world's doing now is love, 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 right? And that's out there. So we know that's not a new idea, but if you and I let our hearts be open to that infinite love, then you can become the source of that. So if you and I want to begin to have a happy life, a much, much happier life than we ever imagined, then let's start number one. How about changing your worries into positive things, or just giving up worry at all? It actually takes courage to give up worry. I think our unconscious mind thinks we're safer if we worry. Oh, I'm worrying. That makes me safer. Actually, it doesn't make us safer. So how about if you quit worrying? Doesn't mean to do stupid things. You just don't have to worry about it all the time. Try to be as present as you can. Let's start tonight's idea with give up worry. Release worry. Dare to wake up happy and go to sleep happy. And you may think it's a crazy world. Don't worry about it. Just trust. How about this? Second point. Every moment that surrounds us, you and I are walking in a divine and magical realm. Now, if you could see that and really feel it, can you see how it would change your life? If you started to see that every moment and every time and every second, you're in a magical realm connected to the infinite power of the almighty presence of God. And for those of you that are Christians, what I'm saying is very much what Christ taught. In the Gospel of Mark 11, 22 through 24. He talked all about it. He says, whatsoever you can ask of God, it can be done if you'll believe in it, not doubt, and forgive everyone you have judgments upon. The formula is laid right out there. Mark 11, 22. Just look it up. And he didn't say, and I can do this and you can't. That's too bad. He said, we have that potential. So why don't you and I open ourselves to the infinite blessing of God's love right now? Why don't you dare to let your heart be flooded with love? Can you imagine? Marie is saying, so many venues in the city of light to share fellowship and beauty. That's very true, Marie. And we take our city for granted. When I was in the going to this show Friday night, there was a young man and his girlfriend in line right next to me, and I gave him one of my Expect a Miracle cards. And next thing you know, they're asking me, well, what do you think we should do? How can I be successful in the world like I am now? He's in his 30s. And basically what I said to him is, first off, if you believe in God, you got to pray to God, because nobody can figure out the world, really. The second thing is, you just got to keep believing and trusting and knowing you're surrounded by opportunity and abundance right now. And where any of you are right now, I want to say this to you. You're surrounded by what you need. You are surrounded by what you need. You're in an abundant universe. Jesus taught that. I've studied lots of different inspirational speakers that teach the same thing. But the basic bottom line is, you're one idea from changing your life. Me just deciding to go to these different events. And I got to tell you something. When I was driving down to the thing Saturday night at Resort World, there were some other things going on the strip too, and trust me, it was crowded down there. And I almost turned around, I almost said to my wife, let's just head home. This is not worth it. But you know what? We didn't. We went on in and went to that Transfix, that light show, that whole thing. We just wander around and kind of stumble around in this magical wonderland. And you know what? If I had let my resistance and my inertia stop me, I would have missed out on something very magical. And now, I know it's just a fun thing. They're going to be there all summer long. I'm also tempted to show up there. Maybe I should find out what it costs for a group, and maybe we should all show up there as a group. I think you have to find it kind of fun. I might check into that. I know they have group discounts on prices. So the bottom line is, I'm walking around in there, in all this beautiful color and light. These beautiful casinos all around me. I think people travel from all over the world to get a taste of this. I happened to meet a young couple from Saudi Arabia, of all places. And they were just, their eyes were so big that they couldn't believe it. It was like they were in love and seeing it for the very first time. They just were saying how magical it was. They couldn't believe it. And see, that's the world that you and I are in, and we may take it for granted sometimes. We live in a magical, magical world. And all these things for me happened, and I really didn't know what I was going to do. Last year, my wife did a very beautiful party for me on my 70th birthday party, but this year we had nothing planned. And you know what? It couldn't have been better. Sometimes you just got to go with the flow, and then things just keep opening up in front of you. Magic opens up in front of you. And that's what I'd like to invite each one of you to really open your hearts to. 1, give up worry. 2, understand you're in a magical world. You've been given a body that lasts a long time, as long as you treat it with some respect. And your body can keep opening up to new dimensions of love, of grace, of healing, of happiness. And if you start opening your heart, you'll find people around you who want to share that love with you. I think we're going to have to go to a break again. This is the Gateway Show. If you're on Facebook with me, stay with me. If we're on radio, I'll be back in just a moment. And more ideas on how you and I can unlock that potential so that you can know great joy and happiness. You're like, why not? Why not? It's Robert Side. I'll be back in just a moment. So my friends on Facebook, we have so much indwelling potential in all of us and in the world, but we don't get it. We don't grasp it. We tend to overlook it. We meet somebody and we don't realize it. That person, it's more magical. Let me give you an example to illustrate what I'm about to say. If you were in France, you probably might wind your way and take a chance to see the famous painting, the Mona Lisa. And probably most of you would look at that painting and say, wow, that was neat. I got to see the Mona Lisa. And you'd feel lucky. Maybe if you were in Italy, you'd go see the famous statue of David, of Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci painted. I can't even get these things right. Leonardo da Vinci carved. No, that's not even right either. I'm sorry, I'm goofing this up a little bit. But you're getting the point. You would be seeing these magical things. Now, what if I told you that every person you meet is more magical than that? Every person you meet has more potential and is endowed with the potential for love also. Every person you meet has the ability to share love, receive love. It may be buried, kind of hidden. I had a very rewarding thing happen this week. One of my clients had come to see me about a month and a half ago, or 2 months, and she was in a down place. She was very down. And she hadn't eaten for several days, hadn't slept for several days. We were actually trying to help, wonder if we asked her, should we get you an appointment over at the mental health clinic, because we were kind of worried about her. But we didn't do that. I mean, first of all, we couldn't get one right then, but she decided she didn't need anything like that. But here's what I want to say to you. So we gave her all sorts of ideas, gave her some food to take with her. I gave her one of my books that I showed you. And she just showed up in my office this week. And I looked at her and I almost fell over backwards. I mean, she looked completely different. She looked like a new person. I said, wow, you look great. And she just suddenly was like her life had come back. And so you got to remember, whatever's going on, stay tuned. Open your heart. Let the magic of creation come back into you. Let it lift you up. Even if you're facing something that seems like it's impossible, there's really nothing impossible to God. So let's each of us open our hearts to that infinite love. So seeing her this week, it was so rewarding. We talked a lot about it, actually. We talked a lot about it. And by the way, for those of you that are adventuresome people, not only can you come and get a copy of my book, The Gateway, I'll show it to you one more time again, published nationally. You can get it on Amazon.com too. But I've had people call me from Europe telling me how it's changed their life. I've had people take it to Korea. And it's funny, I had a lady come in from Korea telling me she found it so valuable that she translated part of it to Korean and sent it to Korea. Hold on, we're going to come back on the radio now again. Good evening, it's Robert Seidel. It's a real pleasure to be with you here on this Sunday night. You know, it's as I do this show, it's the Gateway Show, going out on the #1 talk station, also going out on Facebook. You know, I don't really understand how this reality works, but I can tell you this. When I'm talking to you, I feel flooded by infinite love. That's all I can tell you. I feel actually ecstatic. And what I want you to also know, those of you listening, you can come to know ecstasy and joy in your life too. And it doesn't have to be fancy or big things. It could be the small and simple things. It could be you're walking along the street and you see a little child walking along with her mother, and you see the miracle and wonder of that. Or you're walking along and you maybe see when it's been raining, a little bit of water and it's reflecting back the light. And you just marvel at the magic and the wonder that you could see. And you could see light and the miracle of the creation that we're in. And when you start to tune in like that, then life turns into magic. So what was once just an obstacle course and seemed like it was not a good experience sometimes, and any of us, I've been through some hard times in my life too. Oh yeah, Elle, come by and get my book. You should. It's free. Even if I'm not there, I usually am there, but if for some reason I'm not, you can always call first if you want. By the way, let me say one thing. If you're wanting to get in touch with me at my office about anything, we do injuries and accidents, but I've been doing this. I'm a lawyer for 46 years now, practice with my son, member of 3 state bars, Arizona, California, and Nevada. But the bottom line is we're based right here in Las Vegas, and you're always welcome to stop by, and you're always welcome to call us. You can just look me up at lasvegasattorney.com. Real easy to remember. lasvegasattorney.com or Robert Seidel, either way, and you can find me. So I'm going to come back to this. If you and I could grasp that you're surrounded by love and joy waiting for you to see it, it would change everything in your life forever. And let's not wait to get to the end of our lives to discover that. So the first thing I want to say, we're giving up worrying, right? We're changing our worrying. Point 2, we're seeing every moment for the truth that it is, which is magical and divine. Magical and divine. Really capable of giving us what we need when we need it. I know we don't feel that way lots of times, and sometimes it doesn't seem like that to me too, but it's there if we can learn to trust. That's one of the teachings that Jesus gave. And then if you're willing to see that every single moment has miracle working potential in it, if you and I are willing to look for those miracles and find them. But we can convince ourselves of other things too. I was telling one of my kids, there's an old saying, argue for your limitations and you get to always be right. And we have to all watch out for that, me too. You know, I can't do this because that's not me or whatever, and come up with some reason why you can't do it. You'll get to be right because that's the way reality is set up. You get to be right, even about your negativities. Why not be right about your positivities? That this is a miraculous kingdom. It's unlimited potential for grace, for goodness, for healing, for health and happiness. Waiting to deliver you possibilities and answers you could never, ever imagine, that you can't plan today at all. You can't plan it right now. You have no idea what's going to come into your life and change your life for the better right away. And in the longer into the future, doesn't matter. But the point is, you got to start cultivating your mind. That's what I told this young man that was in front of me in the line when we were waiting to go into the show. I said, what you got to do, he and his girlfriend, you got to start cultivating your mind. You got to start seeing the opportunities all around you. You got to trust that you don't give up. You know that the dreams are going to come true, and don't let people talk you out of it. Open your heart to infinite love. Be infinite love. Let infinite joy flow through you. That's what you and I can do. So, give up your worry. Understand every moment's magical. Understand that every moment is imbued with the miracle working potential, and it really, really is. I mean, how far can we take that dream? We don't know. I mean, what if you could break your old unconscious programs thinking something different? What if you could awaken to new possibilities of who and what you are? How would you live your life differently? Think about that. How would you live your life differently if you could awaken to new possibilities of who and what you are? What if you looked around and for the first time saw opportunities? You know, there's a famous story. about this guy who lived in South Africa, and they started discovering diamond mines there, and people were starting to get rich, kind of like the gold rush here. And so he wanted that too, and so he has a little bit of land, and he sold this land and took the money and started going all around prospecting for diamonds. And basically, he ended up very unsuccessful. But here's the weird part about it: the very land that he had was the place where the greatest lode of diamonds was ever discovered. So the land that he got rid of to go search for diamonds was already filled with more wealth than he ever understood. So the question I have for you is, what wealth of joy, love, happiness are you surrounded by right now that you're overlooking? Think about that. What are you overlooking right now? Maybe there's somebody waiting to share love with you, even just as a friend. Maybe God is waiting to open up your heart in a new way and just awaken you to possibilities you never knew were even possible. So it's a matter of seeing the same thing but in a new way. One of my favorite sayings is that genius consists of seeing, this is the real definition, seeing what everybody else has seen, but thinking something different. Example, case in point. For thousands of years, people looked out and saw lightning when there were storms, thunderstorms. They saw lightning come down. And that was kind of it. They didn't think much more about it. Sometimes they made up some stories about it. But it never occurred to them that that was a power that could be harnessed, used to change the world. But then some crazy people started thinking, like Benjamin Franklin, well, maybe there's a power here. I wonder if I could capture that power. So he did some crazy things. He flew a kite with a key attached to it, and he could have been electrocuted. But the bottom line is, he started experimenting. Other people started experimenting. Next thing you know, the idea of electricity started to be developed, and that changed the whole world. So you and I can talk together right now. And then there was the development of wireless communications, which is what we call radio today. When that first was developed, people thought it was insane. They thought it was crazy. Why would you want to send a message out into the air? What good is that? That's exactly what people said. Who'd want to pay anybody for sending their message out into the air where you don't know who's listening? That's exactly what the early people thought when they heard of radio. The idea behind it. They couldn't see any value to it at all. But yet, these ideas come along. They seem impossible, but then they come into being. And they open up whole new doors and possibilities, whole new doorways. So what I want to say to you is, the greatest advancements of humanity, the greatest ideas for the human race, haven't even been thought of yet. Or if they are, they're just still in people's minds, but they haven't been born yet. I like to say this just for the fun of it, partly because I'm also planting the seeds of its creation. I guarantee, I'm positive, there's a way to we get a lot of heat. Another month or so, we're going to have a lot of heat here. And it goes on for months. And you know what? Nobody's using that heat for energy, by and large. And I'm not talking about solar panels now. That's light energy. We have so much heat energy in the Southwest, it goes on for months and months at a time. You could power the whole United States. All you need to do is figure out ways to convert that heat directly to electricity. And you know what? The idea to do that's already been invented, and it's on the way, and it's coming now. And we will laugh that people overlooked it. And that would be pollution-free, what I'm talking about. Pollution-free. But anyway, that's just one example of what I'm talking about. But there are countless ideas waiting to be born right now in your mind, in my mind. Friendships that there are people going to walk into your life right now, this week. They become lifelong friends of yours. Lifelong friends. People that are going to come into your world. They're going to change something in your life. There's going to be spiritual teachers that come into your life that open whole new doors for you that you never even thought was possible. Ever since I got real intensively on the spiritual path, which was really in my 20s, although it started when I was 10 or 11 or 12, I can't quite remember right now. Let's say I was 11 or 12. That's when it really started, but then I kind of took a break during my high school years, junior and high school. But then in my 20s, it kind of took off with a vengeance. It became very, very powerful for me. And I've never looked back. I mean, I've been totally growing in my journey ever since then. And I've encountered things, some easy things, some hard things. Hey, Marty, a dear friend. My friend Marty just got on Facebook. I got to tell you something funny about Marty and I. we both shared. I said, some of you who tuned in earlier, I was mentioning got a chance to go to a breakfast with some old timers here in Las Vegas Friday morning. I was invited to it, and it was a gift to me, which I enjoyed going to very much. One of the people there was Oscar Goodman, and he and I were both in a movie called Casino, and we both got speaking parts in that movie. He had a big one, and I had a small part. But and Marty, who just tuned in, happened to be there that day too. And so he will remember back to that moment too. And it was fun. I had a scene with Robert De Niro. I had a scene with Sharon Stone. And here's the funniest part of all, showing God has a sense of humor. I was supposed to be called Quincy in the movie by the script, but Robert De Niro didn't like the name Quincy. So he said, is it okay if I call him Bob? Well, I am Robert. Bob is my name. So the funny part is, now if you look me up online, it says Robert Seidel played himself in the movie. So I've got listed as, this person has played myself in a major motion picture. I'm now Screen Actor Guild eligible. So yeah, see, Marty's, it was great. It was a great moment. But you know, those great moments keep going on, Marty, and for all of us, and you and I listening, we have not seen the beginning of the best things of our lives. And we haven't seen the beginning of the best advancements for our world. And we got to not get too distracted by some of the dark and negativity of the world. We know that's out there too, but we got to give our power to God and goodness and build our light and fire there. If we do that, then we're going to be very, very happy. Okay, we have to go to a break. When we come back, I'll have Janet and Ernie with me also, but I will stay with you on Facebook right now. Those are my friends. So stay tuned, my friends. I'll be back on the radio in just a moment. This is Robert Seidel. It's the Gateway Show. And you know, my friends, just to show you, you can't predict life. The reason why how I got in that Casino movie, I was invited to speak at a church. This goes back many years in the 90s. And it turns out somebody in the audience of that church, the day I spoke, thought I would like him in that movie, Casino. So they called me up. So one day I'm sitting there in my office. My secretary says, there's some guy on the phone who says he wants you to be in a movie. Now, I get a lot of scam calls, and I thought this is probably just a scam. But sure enough, this guy was legitimate. He was a casting director for Casino, and he wanted me to be in the movie and have speaking part, which most people don't get that opportunity. It's usually extras, right? Just extras. So I got to be an actual cast member. It was fun, a lot of fun. But I didn't know that was going to happen. Hold on a second here. We'll be back just a second. By the way, the radio, my friends. So again, before we come back for the break, I just want to say this to you. Remember, give up your worry, or if you're going to worry about all the good things that are going to happen in your life and how you're going to handle them. You're so successful, you have multiple vacation homes. That'd be an interesting problem. Where are you going to go? Which vacation home? Or whatever. You're going to have fun. That's all I'm going to say. You're so successful that you don't know whether to go to Europe this year or to Hawaii. These are just playing examples. But the point is, or you've got so many friends, you don't know what to do with your friends and how to have celebrations with your friends. I mean, so many possibilities, but start worrying about those kind of things. Start worrying about good things. Three, remember, you are living in a miraculous kingdom. It's boundless and eternal and alive and conscious, filled with the power and the spirit of love and God's grace. So it's just a matter of just getting infused and let your heart be open to that infinite love and dare to trust. And like I was telling my young friend that I met the other night in the line at the show I went to, don't give up. You're surrounded by abundance. You're surrounded by good. You're surrounded by love, and dare to let it be expressed in your life. I'm just laughing to myself. So yeah, Marty, we've had a lot. Marty, my friend that I've known for many many years, we both experienced that day in the casino movie. It was fun. Actually, it wasn't just one day; it was several days, and it's quite an amazing experience to see how they put all that stuff together. I had a lot of fun, a lot of fun, and I didn't know that was going to happen. You don't know what good stuff's going to happen to you this week. Dare to believe, dare to trust, dare to open your heart. Good things are coming to you. I think we're about to go back on the radio right now. Okay, here we go. All right. Yeah, Don Rickles was there. Marty's saying that's right. Yes, Marty. Don Nichols was there. I still remember that very well. All right, my friends. It's a great pleasure to be here. Yeah, I see you're there, right? You can hear me, Marty, okay? Not Marty. I meant to say Ernie.
Hi.
Can, okay, great, 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 great. Um, you, I don't know, you didn't sound real loud to me. Maybe that's because the music was on. I don't know. But it's great to be here. I think Janet's going to be on here too, but we'll get started with you right now. So, Reverend Ernie, what kind of a prayer do you have for us tonight?
All right. Thank you, Robert. The prayer is about learn the secret of living life as an honor and as a gift with miraculous potential. Lord, thank you for this blessed day. We give gratitude for the many blessings you have bestowed upon us. Guide us to be in awareness of your presence and grace within us. We thank you for keeping us in excellent health and in good spirit. We are grateful for the resources that surround us to use it for our physical, emotional, and spiritual well being. Lord, guide us to share and be a testimony to the people we come across on expressing our gratitude for our precious lives and how we can be of service to others. We give our gratitude and acknowledge your blessings of prosperity upon us, the faith in you, and creating heaven on earth, and so it is. Amen.
Beautiful, Ernie. Like it always is, a very beautiful. You put a lot of beautiful love and grace into your prayers, and
Thank you.
uh, and that's it. I think Ernie, one of the things Ernie and I have in common, and he's one of those people that walked into my life, or I walked into his life, either way you want to look at it, and a lot of magic and wonder happened, and we basically uh, well, neither one of us were expecting it. I walked into a networking group. I don't think I've ever been back to that networking group, but Ernie and I became friends. Now I've been friends with you 8 or 9 years, right? Something like that.
Over 9 years, sir.
Over nine. Wow. Yeah. See, we don't really want to admit that to ourselves, do we? But actually, I don't mind admitting that because been a nice gift for me, and that's a nice thing, you know. I worked at a big law firm when I got out of law school, Ernie, that represented President Reagan, among many other famous people. A lot of famous actors too. It was fun. I mean, I was there. I mean, Robert Wagner was there. Natalie Wood was there. I mean, a lot of famous people I could name, but I'm not going to name them right now. But all sorts of them. I got a chance to see them, meet them. It was a very interesting experience. Um, but you know, but I while I was there, I stayed there not quite 3 years, and then I came to Nevada. I met somebody, a young man, because I was young then too, and he and I have become very close friends. And guess what? He's an attorney. He's been working with me, and pretty much the last 25 years. You know, he works remotely, but works. I talk to him pretty much every day. That's a friendship that walked into my life, kind of like you, Ernie, and and then we've been friends now. He and I, we don't like to talk about how long it's been, but in our case, it's been 46 years. Can you imagine that, Ernie? You know, and it just somebody walked into my life, 46-year friendship. So, and it's anyway. So you never know when somebody's going to come into your world, my friends. That's going to change your life forever, and that's I think what each one of us have to remember. Um, and just be open to that good stuff. Just flood your brain with expecting that, right, Ernie? So how do you do that in
Mhm.
your what do you do to stay positive, Ernie?
Excuse me, Robert. Oh, well, I let the divinity, God or the divinity, run my life. I mean, I try my best to be positive, and of course, I have human feelings as well. And I go sometimes setbacks. I do have setbacks sometimes, but I, get out of it as quickly as possible, and have a positive attitude towards life. You see, and when I have a positive attitude towards life and love towards others, I feel, you know, overjoyed. I feel joyful and feel kind-hearted.
Well, and that's it, Ernie, and you're right. I have setbacks too, and I'm doing a complicated legal business that having lots of very wonderful clients that trust us, and so we work very hard to fulfill their expectations or exceed them actually, and yet at the same time, Doesn't mean, I'm in the legal business. You can't really predict from day to day what's going to happen. You just keep riding the waves and knowing you're going to bring it into a successful outcome. But you have to learn how to stay positive in the middle of it. You have to just learn to stay positive in the middle of
Yes.
it, and that's something that we as human beings need to do. We got to be careful not to be let ourselves get pulled down too hard. I mean, we got to laugh. Those of you out there, whatever's going on in your world, if it's upsetting you, if you feel like you've fallen behind or something, don't worry about it. Let it go. Surrender to God. Let God give you a new beginning tonight, right now. If not before, and it can't be before because we're now. So whatever is going on with any of you listening, let God give you a new beginning tonight. Jesus talked about that a lot in the New Testament, a lot. He talked all the time. Put new wine into new wineskins. You got to have a new vision of reality. And wherever it's going on, we got to keep believing in our future, believing in our life, and not giving up. And if you do encounter something negative, Ernie, what do you do to stay positive?
Well, just stay positive. Yes, to just get back into my in deep inside of myself. You see, and I try not to be too analytical or too critical on myself, and relax and meditate and relax, and I snap out of it matter of minutes. Okay, and move on. And I talked to my wife, and I thought, hey, this is how I feel about things and things like that. She's my wife Denise, and she's understanding, very understanding where I'm coming from. So meditative and and be good to myself, not to be too critical, uh, of myself either. So
Well,
I
that's
pray from within. Yes.
pray, pray. Yeah, I don't think you can. If you pray to God with all of your heart, mind, and soul every day,
Yes.
doesn't have to be a long
Yes.
prayer, but if you seek the blessings of God, you know what? And Marty's saying sometimes it's good to cry. Yeah, and sometimes it is good to cry. Well, what can I say? Depends what the circumstance is. My friend Marty's saying that. Um, but you know what? We're almost out of time here. But yeah. So in fact, let me do. I want to say something real quickly since Janet's not here to share a prayer. I'm going to do a very short one. My friends who are listening, may the Holy Spirit, may the grace of Jesus Christ, all that is good, shower down upon you in your life wherever you might be, reminding you to believe once again. Let that love penetrate your heart and your mind and your soul and your spirit. Let you be awakened to a new vision of existence that you never even thought was possible. New friends, new good opportunities, new visions of reality, great health, great happiness are coming to you now. Pray this now in the name of Jesus Christ and all that is good, and so it is. Amen. So there you go. There's our healing prayer for the night, and is in addition to yours, Ernie. And I just want all of you out there, let's just remember that good is coming, and we are that good. All right, everybody saying amen. God bless you guys. Take care of yourselves. This is Robert Seidel.
Amen.
Until next week. Thank you, Ernie. Thank all of you that tuned
Thank you.
in. God bless you all. Bye bye.
Bye bye.